Hi, I'm Nicole Gerbino. I've been a member here at Christ Community Church since 2011, and I'm the Love Acts area leader. This is my story. It's a story of what God has done in my life, and I pray that it gives you hope. I was born in severe poverty to an alcoholic, disabled dad and a mom who had anxiety disorder and struggled with depression. I was homeschooled, and growing up as an only child, I didn't really have a great frame of reference for family life or many Christian influences, but I knew that what I had didn't really fall in there. I was teased a lot in school for my circumstances, and I always felt really broken and really lonely. After a brief period of homelessness and staying in shelters, my parents had a really messy divorce. My mom and I didn't have a relationship from the time that I was 12 until I was 20, and my dad died when I was 19 after struggling with a really long illness and being on a ventilator for about a year. It was a really tough period in my life, and there was a lot of pain. I was fully financially independent because I'd been working full-time since I was 15 to be able to support my family and basic needs that we had. I just felt so discouraged and so alone in those years, and I always kept asking, why me? It was here that I started to rely only on myself during my teenage years, and I didn't really make the greatest choices during all of those times. I moved away immediately after high school, wanting a good, fresh start, and I married young. We were blessed with a son who was amazing, but it wasn't a faith-based marriage, and we made a lot of mistakes, and we struggled. I was a really different person when I didn't know God. I was angry, I was frustrated, I still asked why me all the time, and I was super lonely and depressed. When my marriage fell apart, I felt even more alone than ever, and I started going to church with a friend. And I was really looking for a place to belong at that time, but I just didn't really understand what I was looking for. So I know that God put this friend in my path to really help me to be able to find my faith. And it was a long road, but it worked. Finding a relationship with Jesus helped me in so many ways. I was anxious and lonely and angry without him, and with him I felt comfort and safe, and I felt that I was loved. And the past and how others saw me really mattered less and less when I started to see myself through Jesus. And I was able at that time to forgive others because I knew that he had forgiven me for all of my mistakes and for my sins. And I knew that he gave me grace, and he still continues to give me grace every single day when I make mistakes. So it became a lot easier to give grace to other people and to forgive. So with God and what he was able to do for me, I was able to forgive my mom, be reunited with her. We have a great relationship now, and was able to have a really positive parenting relationship with my ex-husband too. In fact, Jason and I are even godparents to his kids. Finding a relationship with Jesus was just amazing. I can't even describe it, how I felt since I was baptized in 2004. But I still hoped for the family that I'd always wanted, to feel that completeness. And so in 2005, I met the man that you guys know as my husband, Jason. And if you know him, you know he has a capacity to love others and to meet people where they are like nobody else I've ever met. Raising our 3 kids in a blended family wasn't always easy, but it was really rich in love, and I'm very grateful for that. And we continued to grow our faith. We continued to learn about God's plan for us and to put him in the middle of our marriage, and it all became so good. When we learned to put God in the center of our home, I finally felt some peace, and I knew that I wasn't alone anymore. And when it comes down to it, I never really was alone. God always had a plan for me, and I know that he has one for you too. Every struggle, every tear, every hurt or lonely moment that I've had when I felt like I couldn't go on, I've seen God use that to bless someone else every time, or to give me a reason to try to help somebody else. It hurts my heart in a way that's extremely personal when I see children that are struggling, families that are struggling, kids that don't have maybe that family support or that provision in their lives. And I understand how it feels to rely on others' generosity as a child, as a young adult, and to really need basic things like clothing and food. And we're called to show other people dignity and kindness and to help them provide these things. In 2011, God brought us to CCC, and here there were other people in a church that had a heart to help hurting people in the same way that I did, people that were hurting the same way that I had been hurting many times. And God brought me to our Love Acts ministry, to people that are homeless or hungry or kids that are in need. And I'm so thankful and grateful to be able to be part of that. I know that all my past happened as part of God's plan for me so that I can help show other people who He is by providing their basic needs and just showing them that they're loved. There are always going to be struggles and challenges in life. I don't mean to sound as though everything's perfect. I still really struggle a lot with giving things over to God. I tend to want to take control over things. I still struggle with anxiety or wanting to be so involved in the ways of the world and not always what God has for me. But His plan is so good when we rely on it and when we rely on Him. I've seen that so many times. God's answered my prayers, even the ones that I didn't know that I had. What He's done in my life has shown me that He never fails us. Sometimes it takes years and years for His plans to be what He wants them to be, but you just have to have faith during those hard times. I know it's hard. He turns sadness into joy, He turns anxiety into peace, and He turns despair into hope. He did it for me, and He can do it for you. I'm Nicole, and this is my story.